Before the Game Awards you know and love / hate, delete where appropriate today, there was something else. The original huge video game show, the Spike TV Video Game Awards. Back before the current Jeff Keighley, please wrap it up, oh no way, it's Animal from the Muppet Show, these were produced by Jeff Keighley. Huh. Some things never change. While I was making the Underground 2 video recently, I read that Brooke Buck, playing the character of Rachel Teller, actually won an award at the Spike TV VGAs for her role in the game. So I decided to look a bit further into that, and man did I go down a rabbit hole, because the old Spike TV Video Game Awards make G4 look tame by comparison.
Because who knows anything about Japanese history? There were some samurai, they periodically killed themselves, a rat learned judo, and they invented a religion that sanctifies small trees and fat guys wrestling. Then we nuked them. That's how they turned into a real country.
These awards began back in 2003 for, as you can probably guess, Spike's own TV network. And they are such an offensive and nostalgic time capsule of the early aughts that I just had to make a video all about them, just in time for another year of the Game Awards we have now, which are by comparison quite a snore fest after I binge watched all of the old VGAs. For the most part, they functioned like any regular award show, with awards handed out in pretty much all of the regular categories, with of course the most important one being Game of the Year. But of course the thing that made the Spike TV VGA stand out is how early 2000s they are, in how they're presented and also what is actually being said and done by the people on stage. Yeah, as you can expect from a Spike TV show in the early aughts, most of the things that are being shown and said are rather grotesque, edgy, inappropriate, and would probably get you fired if you merely suggested them today.
You've got to learn to make Laura do exactly what you want her to do.
The girlfriend brain does not have this load. Instead, we find something called the boredom oblongata, which, as you can see, works together with the complainabellum, the nagmadilla.
By the way, this game is rated G for gay. And last but not least, Escape from Neverland. You're a kid and Michael Jackson wants you to spend the night. Now you have to escape from the mansion before you get King of Popped. Nice. All right, enough of me. Okay, now let's go see Jenner in her underwear again.
That was really bad.
However, even for other stuff that isn't downright offensive is just tasteless enough now that it probably just wouldn't fly today.
We all know that video games are incredibly time-consuming. Yeah, that's probably why there are so many virgins out there. And we all know that Virgin Mobile is the only way to get connected, right?
There's Marcel, and that's LeVar. Finally, these brothers are brothers.
Video games poison children's brains. TV does too. Tonight, the two of them meet. Hopefully it'll be enough to kill some of the weaker children of America.
Especially given how in the last decade or so, the industry has such a giant fixation on acting professional and being taken seriously. However, at least with this old attitude, we could have fun, make fun of things, and generally have a bit more of a character to the awards than, well, whatever is going on now. However, it's not just about the crude jokes. It's also about the overrepresentation of these old shows. With giant lists of celebrity appearances, musical numbers by well-known bands, and most of the early shows being hosted by Samuel L. Jackson himself, who did a phenomenal job of actually being relevant and feeling natural in a role of a presenter for Game Awards. And just the sheer hype they're able to produce is actually insane, though a lot of that just goes hand in hand with the overrepresentation. Well, now things have to be sleek, modern, minimalist. They went for pure hype, with rock and hip-hop music blaring, busy graphics and overlays where you almost have no idea what's going on, and explosions. A lot of explosions. While the theme changed quite a bit with time, it still managed a job of keeping the pace up, and I think that is what makes these awards still so rewatchable. And looking back, I was generally impressed exactly how many big names they're able to get even in those earlier days of the industry. Yes, I know that by the early 2000s, gaming was already very well accepted, but still, I'm surprised how many big names managed to show up, with some like, once again, Samuel L. Jackson or Snoop Dogg appearing quite a few times. I mean, come on, can you actually imagine someone like Snoop Dogg appearing at the Game Awards now? Oh. And of course, given the time period, there were also quite a few jabs at Hillary Clinton and her army of anti-video game crusaders.
I'm a senator from the Midwestern state, and well, I only bitch about video game violence to distract from the real problems and to capitalize on the fears of soccer moms.
And that's what America's all about.
Now, obviously, this show did mature of age, as it tried to move away from all of the immature jokes and whatnot into being a bit more, you know, professional and sellable to a wider audience by the time of the late aughts. Well, mostly. And by the time of the last show in 2013, the overall vibe was extremely similar to the current Game Awards. So why did it stop then? Well, while they are kind of fun to watch in retrospective, they had their own issues. For example, they started to go a bit overboard with celebrity appearances, with many who have no idea what they're doing, where they are, or even what an Xbox is. And because of this, a lot of the awards weren't even awarded during the show. Famously, Mark Hamill attended the show in 2011 for his role in Arkham City, only for the best performance by a human male category to not be announced during the show, with the winner instead being revealed afterwards. But the 2013 show was the nail in the coffin, and if there was any year where they were just not allowed to mess up, it was the year that the Xbox One and PS4 were launching, with host Joel McHale doing such an awful job that news outlets wrote that he should never be allowed near a gaming show ever again, after insulting both the devs and the audience present at the show. By December next year, Jeff Keighley used all his experience he had running the Spike TV VGAs for over a decade to create the spiritual successor, the Game Awards. Are they an improvement? Who knows? The old Spike show had many problems, and while I and many others may miss the attitude that the old shows had, they are very much a relic of the bygone era. However, it's great to see that the industry is at least starting to loosen up a bit in that regard. However, I think the biggest difference is that while the modern Game Awards try the hardest to be cool, to be relevant, and to showcase the industry in a great light, the old shows did it so organically in a way, even though they're still very try-hardy about how grotesque they wanted the VGAs to be. It felt so naturally cool. And sure, the Game Awards of today do match the general sensibilities of this decade quite a lot better. And the industry, now mature and established, can still look back on those young, angsty teenage years with a sentimental tear rolling down its cheeks. So before we wrap up, let's just go with every single edition of the show and see how much we agree and disagree with some of the choices they made. The debut show in 2003 chose Madden 2004 as its Game of the Year, despite stuff like GTA Vice City, Wind Waker, Knights of the Old Republic, Splinter Cell, and Tony Hawk's Underground all being nominated. And the thing that probably summarizes this entire show the best is the fact that Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball won Best Animation. 2004 included a one-off category called Best Gaming Publication, as voted for by the fans, which was given to Game Informer. And it just made me laugh because I can't imagine this kind of category today, given the state of gaming journalism. I can just imagine Jeff hyping up the category at the show, only to reveal that the winner is none of the above. Game of the Year wise, it was a pretty tough competition, given how we had Burnout 3, Half-Life 2, Halo 2, and MGS 3, but eventually it went to GTA San Andreas. 2005, Game of the Year unsurprisingly went to RE4, with other choices being Call of Duty 2, Fear, God of War, and World of Warcraft. 2006, Epic Games won Studio of the Year, and I just wanted to point this out for all of the Gen Alpha kids watching this, who didn't know they existed before Fortnite. There weren't too many standouts in the Game of the Year category, and the winner, wow, is pretty obvious, as Todd's reign of terror over the Game Awards began. 2007 was another contentious one, given how we had Bioshock, Halo 3, Mass Effect, and the Orange Box all launching, even if the last one isn't technically a game but a collection of games, though Ken Levine's anarcho-capitalist adventure eventually took the win. In 2008, they also introduced a strange one-off title called Gamer God and gave it to Will Wright. And there weren't even any other nominees, they just really wanted to give Will Wright an award. They just kind of really liked the guy, and hey, I like the guy, so good job there, VGAs. And the Game Award naturally went to GTA 4, with the other choices being Fallout 3, Gears of War 2, Little Big Planet, and MGS 4. 2009 shown that ain't no financial crisis slowing down the gaming train, with Game of the Year going to Uncharted 2 of all things. Despite stuff like Assassin's Creed 2, Arkham Asylum, Modern Warfare 2, and Left 4 Dead 2 all being nominated as well. 2010, Red Dead Redemption 1, with the others being Black Ops, God of War 3, Halo Reach, and Mass Effect 2. And Todd announced Skyrim while being surrounded by guys in robes. 2011, Skyrim, Arkham City, Skyward Sword, Portal 2, Uncharted 3, and Epic Games teased this weird zombie survival thing called Fortnite. 2012, The Walking Dead, AC3, D, J, and ME3. And obviously in 2013, GTA 5, with Black Flag not even being nominated, which is probably one of the most offensive things that the VGAs have ever done. Whew, that was a lot. So after you're done watching this year's show, maybe go back and watch some Spike Video Game Awards to relax and remember what the industry once was, for the better and also for the worse. Much, much worse. But before that, obviously make sure to check out our Patreon as well.
Just so you know, I will hit a baby.